Two frequently asked questions that I get when somebody buys a telescope from us are: number one, how can I take photographs through it? And number two, I'd like to buy a higher magnification eyepiece. And so, without breaking the bank, at the time of this video, at less than £60 delivered, you've got the Skywatcher Planetary eyepiece, and these are SWA or semi-wide angle, and the ones I'm going to show you today are in 6 and 7 millimeters. Compared to the stock ones that you might get with your telescope as standard, that have two lens elements, these are 5, and it's fully multi-coated, really nice internal baffling which helps cut down on reflection, which improves contrast. And straight away you can tell when you pick them up, these really are a very solid eyepiece. Threaded for filters, and on the barrel there you'll notice a little groove that helps give a very secure connection when connecting or fitting to your star diagonal or your focuser. So these give an apparent field of view, the size of that circle that you see, of 58 degrees, whereas a standard Plössl that you get with a telescope may come with 52, 50 or even down to 40 degrees. So you're not sacrificing field of view just for pushing the magnification. Eye relief is quoted as 16 millimeters. I found maybe they're nearer 14 with this 6 millimeter with the eye cup folded down. You can pop it up like that if you're not wearing spectacles, but if you are, you can fold it down, and I could just about get full field of view with these spectacles on. I know people's glasses are different. You may not see the full view. With a 7 millimeter, you'd have thought that I'd have a longer eye relief, but I actually found it to be shorter, not because of the eye relief itself, but for whatever reason the lens element is recessed further down into the body. I don't know why, but and because of that I struggled to use them with glasses on. So bearing all that in mind if you are a spectacle wearer. And so before we get onto the topic of how much magnification can you go with your telescope, let's first of all, for those that don't know, how do you actually work out how much magnification each eyepiece gives for the telescope that you own? To work out the magnification that each of these eyepieces and many more will give you, it's very straightforward. But unlike a birdwatching spotting scope, where on the eyepiece itself it will say something like 20 to 60 times or 15 to 45 times, just as a couple of examples, it's not the same with astronomical eyepieces. Instead, they tell you the focal length of each eyepiece. So you have 6 millimeters and 7 millimeters, but there are many others available from 2.5 millimeters up to 40 millimeters and beyond to give various magnifications. And so to work out how much power these two give, we'll use an example, the Celestron Astromaster 130 EQ, which has a focal length of 650 millimeters. That is the focal length of the OTA or the optical tube assembly. To work out the magnification, so 650 divided by 6 is 108. I'm not going to go into the fractions, but approximately 108. And for the 7 millimeters, 650 divided by 7 equals 92. Two sensible higher power magnifications. You could double that with a Barlow lens, but that's a subject for another video. And another example, my own setup, my TAL 4-inch refractor has a focal length of 1000 millimeters, and my favourite planetary or double star eyepiece is my TMB, which has a focal length of 10 millimeters. So 1000 divided by 10, 100 times. And with my 12-inch Dobsonian, a focal length of 1500 millimeters or 1.5 meters with that 10 millimeter eyepiece gives 150 times. Again, a sensible magnification. And so that's how to work out the magnification of eyepieces. So in the next section we'll ask ourselves, what is a sensible highest power that you should go for your particular telescope? So to answer that question, it's not really as clear as black and white, or you could say, how long's a piece of string? I know some catalogue shops will have these little cheap plastic telescopes boasting 400, 500 or more magnification from such a small aperture, and when you get it home the image will be so blurred you won't be able to see anything, and it will be quickly returned or pretty much given away on Marketplace. With some online resources they will say maximum magnification per inch, so it might be 30, 40 or 50 per inch. And just to give an example, that meant if you had a 4-inch telescope, then going by those numbers the maximum magnification you can use with that is 120 to 200 times, depending on which resource you go by. But it's not quite as simple as that. So let's say you're pushing it 200 magnification with a 4-inch telescope. You may have a very high quality 4-inch Maxutsoff or a long tube refractor, apochromatic or ED refractor, very top optics, and a 4-inch one of those, 200 magnification, should be possible. But on the other side you may have bought a cheap 4-inch reflector, and it might be a catadioptric, or what you call the Bird-Jones design as some people call it, that optically is not as good, and you may be pushing it anything beyond 100 magnification to get a really clear image. The image at 120 might look bigger, but are you actually picking any more detail out? In fact, are you seeing less detail because you can't quite focus it? And there are many other factors as well. If you're going to the upper limits, it also depends on things, especially going back to the reflector telescope. Is your collimation absolutely spot on? It depends on the quality of the mirror, the quality of the secondary mirror, the quality of the eyepiece. There's so many variants, but not just that. Atmospheric turbulence. If you live in a city or wherever, a built-up area, there's going to be a lot of heat rising. Made even worse if it's in the middle of summer, and heat rising, it's like looking through rippling water sometimes. But if you live out in the countryside, a nice crisp frosty winter's evening, nice steady atmosphere, with a high quality refractor or Maxutsoff, Smid-Cassegrain example, to name a few, you're going to be able to use those high powers. And so it's a very tricky one to come up to answer clearly. What you should do really is, like a lot of people that bought Muslim, they ask for different eyepieces, and I give an honest opinion, and I say, you shouldn't really go beyond this magnification with this telescope. I would recommend this eyepiece rather than pushing it too far, and they'll take in that advice and buy the appropriate eyepiece. If a dealer maybe pushes an eyepiece that they want to sell you that wouldn't really be suitable for your scope, would be pushing it too much, probably talk to somebody else. But anyway, that's a quick look at trying to work out what is a realistic magnification for your telescope. I would say it just depends really on the quality of your telescope, how far you can push it. I know there's another channel called Ed Ting, please check him out. He's done some great videos on this sort of topic, where he, as he calls them junk scopes, and about how much magnification they can take. And normally he has a cut-off point of maybe 50 magnification, and that's it. So I hope this explains it a little bit better. I know it's quite a complex topic discussion, working out the highest magnification you can go to for any particular scope and eyepiece combination. So in the comments below, let me know, what is the highest magnification you've ever used with your current telescope? Did you actually pick out any more detail? Tell us about the seeing conditions, if that helped, and any other factors as well. And also, if you bought an eyepiece that you've been recommended, or you've had an eyepiece that come as stock with that telescope that you bought, and you was really disappointed and you stuck to the lower magnification ones, tell us your stories, share them in the comments below. So hope this helps, and I'll see you next time.